Hi everybody, it's Megan. I am here to talk about a satisfying experience. Now, I have been working at Turning Stone for 10 years. I've been dealing for 9 of those 10 years. And I took a blackjack class to begin dealing, to start out as a dealer. That was in itself satisfying to complete that class and transition into being a dealer, and it's got its ups and downs. Um, there are some games that I enjoy to deal, and others that I do not. But anyway, so craps class though. Craps was probably the most satisfying um, experience that I've had as a dealer. Um, So, let's see. I did not take it until 2019. I've been dealing since 2012. The reason being, it's a very intimidating game. If you have ever been to the casino and you look, those big giant tables with a lot of people crowded around. You've got 3 dealers on the table and a supervisor sitting at the table. That's the box man. You've got, your 2 base dealers and your stick dealer, and it's that by itself is kind of intimidating. But then you look down at the layout and you see all of these different places that you can bet. You can bet on your hard ways, you can bet hot bets, you can bet a horn bet, you can bet craps, you can bet a yo. A yo is 11. And you have to learn all the different terminology. You can bet on the pass line, the don't pass line, you can bet in the field, you can bet in the come bet, you can bet place bets, you can bet in the don't come, and I think I already said the don't pass. There are just so many different ways to play, so many different bets, and all of them have different payouts. And so you, as a dealer, you have to memorize those payouts. So on like a 4 and 10, you have to know that for every $5, you're going to get paid 9. And each number has a different payout, different odds, and everything else. And you have to know what the maximum that players can bet on. And just in the math, like I said, the math. I'm not terrible at math. I'm actually pretty lazy with it. But I think the hardest part about the math, the hardest mathematical portion of it, is probably all the center action, like your hot bets and your horn bets, because if somebody's got like 6 or 7 different bets there in the middle and one of those numbers hits, you have to calculate how much that payout is according to what they have on it, and then you have to subtract all of their other bets to keep them up on it. The horn bet is the hardest, depending on what number lands. But so the most challenging part of this is when you're a base dealer and you're standing on base, you are listening. First of all, you are listening to your stick man, you are listening to your box man, you're listening to your floor supervisor, and any of the other players that are on your side of the table. You could have 1 player, that's easy. You could have 8 players, and they're all trying to tell you what they want to do with their bets as soon as a number hits. And so you have to listen, you have to repeat back to them what it is that they want. So if they want the same bet, or they want to go up 1, or they want to do this, or they want to come down, you repeat what they say to cover your own behind. You say it so that you can clarify, yes, that's what you wanted, and if it was wrong, then they correct you. That is probably the most challenging part. Not necessarily the math. It's just listening to 100 different people all at once, because they all want something different, and continuing to go through and so anyway, it's very challenging, and I almost didn't take it because I was afraid of all of that. I've heard stories from other dealers who just get so fed up with some of these players, and I mean, I can understand because I get fed up with some of them too. But so it was very intimidating. It was kind of scary. But one of my coworkers, Nikki, she looked at me one day and she said, "Take craps class with me." I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." So I think it was 8 weeks for us, Monday through Friday. We went from 8 a.m. to noon for day shift dealers. And then I had to work from noon until 8 or 1 until 9. And then I would get home at like 10 o'clock at night and do it all over again the next day. We don't get paid for the class time. We only get paid for the time that we're on the clock at work. So that was kind of challenging, giving up an additional, 4 to 6 hours because of travel time and everything else of my day for free. There's no real incentive. We don't get a raise for learning the new games or anything like that, but let me tell you, I finished the game, the class, completed it. We had to complete 160 hours of class time. So even though we learned each part and everything else, if I was short by 5 hours, I could not take the audition. I could not audition for the game, and I would not be able to deal the game. But I did it. I was a little behind on my hours, but I caught up. And so I auditioned and I passed, and it was the most nerve-wracking thing that I have ever done. Even more so than sitting here in front of this camera. I'm camera shy. I don't know. I don't do well in front of people, but this game, it was oh my goodness, when I was taking my audition, I was on stick and I was shaking. I was so nervous. But I passed the audition, and as time progresses, even now, even though I've been dealing the game for 2 years, I'm getting better. I have my off days. I have my days where I'm boom, 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 boom. I'm right on top of everything. I'm catching other people's mistakes. I'm correcting this. I'm correcting that. And it's almost exhilarating. I don't want to say exhilarating, but it is so satisfying and it's the most fun game. It is the most fun. I don't want to deal any other game. That's the only game I ever want to deal anymore. But unfortunately, I don't, I have to go wherever they tell me to go. But even when I'm having a bad day on craps, it's still better than a good day on blackjack. Like I said, completing the blackjack class was satisfying, because it led me to a career that I'm trying to kind of get out of now, because it's not really for me. I've had some issues, and I think it's time for me to move on. But as far as everything within that business, completing the craps class was the most satisfying moment. Most satisfying experience of my life was completing the class, passing the audition, and dealing the game, and progressively getting better and better and better. Every day that I get to deal the game, I'm better than I was the last time, and it's just very satisfying. Can't wait to hear about all of yours. Thanks.